Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and hope everybody had a good 4th and a good holiday weekend. And now I'm back at it here, and today we're gonna talk about the Fukushima nuclear disaster over there, because right now they're going to be releasing radioactive water into the ocean. And CNN says, how worried should we be? And here's the AP. There's a lot of articles about this, but yeah. Well, they're going to conduct tests before they discharge treated radioactive wastewater into the ocean. So nothing to be worried about here. Okay, well, let's take a look at this. So it says that the operator of the wrecked Fukushima nuclear plant began tests of a newly constructed facility for discharging treated radioactive wastewater into the sea, a plan strongly opposed by local fishing communities and neighboring countries. But the interesting thing about that is, right here, this CNN article says that, there are no other options. Okay, so that is why this is being done. This is the only option. And the option is they're going to dilute the treated water, which they don't really say how they're treating it, with large amounts of seawater. The diluted water then enters an undersea tunnel and is released into the ocean about 0.6 of a mile from the coast. And they say that these are voluntary tests, and they should continue for about 2 weeks. And Japan's government announced a plan in 2021, in April, to gradually release the treated but still slightly radioactive water following its dilution to what it says are safe levels. And that's you'll see backed up by a lot of other places. But the plan has faced fierce protests from the local fishing community, concerned about safety and reputational damage. Nearby countries, South Korea, China, the Pacific Islands, have also raised safety concerns. Japan's government has set up a fund to promote Fukushima seafood and provide compensation in case sales fall due to safety concerns. So the government is basically now an insurance company. And the head of the Fukushima Prefectural Fisheries Association said they stand by their opposition to this only option agenda. They held a rally, but the Japanese officials say the diluted water will be released into the ocean over decades, making it harmless to people and marine life. So Japan has sought support from the International Atomic Energy Agency to gain credibility and ensure safety measures met international standards. And right now they have to do something because the tanks storing the water used since the accident to cool the reactor cores will reach their capacity in early 2024. So, and they're not going to build any more of those tanks because they're trying to decommission the plant. So right here, this CNN article, says that they're going to start the releasing with approval from the United Nations nuclear watchdog for a controversial plan that comes 12 years after the Fukushima nuclear meltdown. So this has been in the works for years, with the environmental minister declaring in 2019 there were no other options as space runs out to contain the contaminated material. And the UN assurances has done little to reassure rattled residents in neighboring countries. Some have cast doubt on the IAEA's findings, and with China recently arguing that the group's assessment is not proof of the legality and legitimacy of Fukushima's wastewater release. So right here, CNN is going to tell you what you need to know. Well, now that would be something new. So yeah, right here, they said, right, the space of those tanks is dwindling. The company says building more tanks isn't an option, and it needs to free up space in order to safely decommission the plant, a process that involves decontaminating facilities, dismantling structures, and fully shutting things down. And they say the radioactive wastewater contains some dangerous elements, but the majority of these can be removed from the water. And so they said the real issue is hydrogen isotope called radioactive tritium, tritium, which can't be taken away because there's currently no technology available to do so. But the government say the water will be highly diluted and released slowly over decades. That means the concentration of tritium being released would be on par or lower than the amount other countries allow and meet international safety and environmental regulations. They say that tritium occurs naturally in the environment from rain to seawater to tap water and even in the human body, so releasing small amounts into the sea should be safe. So yeah, the IAEA says that the treated water into the sea would have a negligible radiological impact on people in the environment, but CNN says the experts are divided. So it says that tritium itself is too weak to penetrate the skin, but can increase the risk of cancer if consumed in extremely large amounts. And that the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission acknowledged that any exposure to radiation could pose some health risks, but added that everyone is exposed to small amounts of tritium every day. And the director of a marine laboratory at the University of Hawaii in Manoa called the plan ill-advised and premature. He's concerned that diluting the wastewater might not be enough to reduce its impact on marine life. Pollutants like tritium can pass through various levels of the food chain, including plants, animals, and bacteria, and would be bioaccumulated, meaning they would build up in the marine ecosystem. And he added that, the world's oceans are already under stress from climate change, ocean acidification, which is real, and the oceans are getting warmer, especially the top layer of the ocean, and overfishing and pollution. And says the last thing it needs is to be treated like a dumping ground. Well, the ocean is a dumping ground for a lot of things and has been, for a lot of years, including all of our plastic waste. Yeah, it's the ocean has been treated like a dumping ground, so that's really nothing new. It says that the wastewater will be treated to filter out all the removable harmful elements. The water is then stored in tanks and analyzed to measure how radioactive it still is. Much of it will be treated a second time, according to TEPCO, the company. The wastewater will then be diluted to 1,500 bicquirals of tritium, a unit of radioactivity per liter of clean water. And so they say, for comparison, Japan allows a maximum of 60,000 bacteria per liter, and the World Health Organization allows 10,000, while the U.S. Is 740 per liter. And so they're going to allow 1,500 right here. So this is what we've been doing, because you'll see they release water routinely like this into the ocean. So it says the diluted water will then be released through an undersea tunnel off the coast. And, they will monitor the discharging during and after its release. Well, that's good to know, so that decades from now, they can keep monitoring potential negative effects. That's not really reassuring. But, The U.S. State Department said that Japan has been transparent about its decision and seems to be following globally accepted nuclear safety standards, if there is such a thing. And so the Taiwan's Atomic Energy Council said the amount of tritium being released is estimated to be below the detection limit, and the impact on Taiwan would be minimal. But a Chinese official warned the wastewater could cause unpredictable harm to the marine environment and human health. The Pacific Ocean is not Japan's sewer for discharging its nuclear contaminated water. Okay. The Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum voiced grave concerns. And so, yeah, more data is needed before any ocean release should be permitted. But sure, except they're running out of space. So they have no other options. They have to do something. And right here, a spokesperson for the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission confirmed that virtually all nuclear plants in the U.S. discharge water containing low levels of radioactivity into the water on which they are located. So this happens routinely. And they say tritium cannot be filtered out, but a member of the public would have to ingest a significant amount of it for there to even be the possibility of a health concern. And radioactive water released is greatly diluted by the flows in the waterway. So they're trying to assure you, but many scientists aren't reassured. They say that regardless if this is common practice, there just isn't enough research into the impact of tritium on the environment and on our food items. So, this is the public. They say is about 50-50. People have been buying up, saltwater products right now over there in Asia. So, and the fishermen say that they really feel like they made the decision without their consent. No, they don't care about the fishermen's consent. They just know that they have to do something. Their storage tanks are running out. They're not building any more. And this is, as this article says right here, their only option. There are no other options. So it's true, radioactive elements are in your life every day, but if this wasn't a big deal, then they would have just put it out there and not made any noise about it. But I guess because they're taking the other pollutants out, the other radioactivity material out, and now they're just leaving this tritium. They're saying that it's as safe as it's going to be. And this is just what happens when you play with fire, and nuclear energy is playing with fire. There is, when meltdowns happen, that's it. Okay. And sure, radioactive materials, they're invisible. What, huh? I don't see it. If it was soot and smog, people would be outraged by it. Plastic oceans, a garbage dump in the middle of the ocean. People are outraged by it. But, well, I don't see it. Is it there? I don't know, and, well, it'll be a long time in the future. I won't be here for the consequences of it. That's people's attitude. But right now, this is just one more thing that could have been prevented had we not even dabbled in nuclear. So stay tuned, people.